Greetings. First off, with this particular video, any gentleman who may be watching may want to pass on this topic. It is a topic squarely for the ladies. All of my videos are geared toward women on this channel, but this one most especially is talking about our monthly cycles. So if that is not a topic for you, pass on. All right, ladies, I want to talk about something that normally I don't really do on this channel, but I think this really warrants a discussion amongst us ladies trying to be godly Christian women. And it's stop using your period as an excuse. And yeah, I'm probably just going to use the term period or whatever. I'm not going to, fluff it up with a nicer term. It's what most of us call it, right? And what I mean by stop using it as an excuse is I think many of us have a tendency to justify poor behavior once a month and blame it on our periods. And I don't think that's a good thing. Part of the reason I don't think that is because that's how my mama raised me. My mama was very, very intent on that even though we have that monthly cycle, it is not an excuse to treat other people poorly. So that is my first point of this. As Christians, we are supposed to treat each other as you wish to be treated. And honestly, this video applies even if you're not a Christian and you just happen to stumble on this, that's totally fine. But I think that's good advice for anybody. But especially those of us who are trying to follow the Bible, we should never treat other people in a way that we wouldn't want to be treated ourselves, right? It's simply good manners and the right way to be. And if you're blowing off poor behavior, as in you're getting grouchy and snippy with people, or flat out, just mean. Some people are mean, and it's just not okay to do that and then blow it off as well. I was on my period. No, that's not nice. Don't do it. Don't fall into that trap. It's not okay. You're still accountable for your words and actions. So just don't do that. Many of us ladies will also use the, comment, well, mine hurts more. I do absolutely consent. Some women have their monthly cycles and they hurt way more than others. I have been pretty blessed. I don't feel like I have an extremely difficult one, but once in a while I'll have one that's very crampy and very hurty, and I'll have to, deploy the ibuprofen or something like that. Generally been blessed. It's not too bad. But I've certainly had a lot of other times in my life where I've maybe hurt or been sick from other things. And this kind of applies to anything, any maybe long-term illness or, disability, just simply our monthly period. Anytime we're hurting, it's not an excuse to make others hurt too. And I don't know. I just think it's a poor excuse to be mean and lose control of our behavior. And I know we're human. Everybody's human. I am not perfect on this. Sometimes I'll feel myself getting a little snippy. My best advice is if you feel that welling up in yourself, go clean something, go do something, whatever, sew or stitch something, cross stitch, do something with your hands, stay busy. Maybe you just go watch a TV show. Certainly time to just lay down and rest too. But don't let the pain that you're in make you into a painful person. It's, again, not a right thing to do, not a good way to treat others, and I don't think it's how the good Lord would want us to be and behaving with your friends and your family and all that. It's also a good way to not have too many friends, right? Generally, I don't know. I've just known a few women over the course of my life that they'll use that monthly cycle especially as an excuse. It's, like a free pass, a get out of jail free card. No, it's not. You can still really hurt people's feelings by, being a stinker pot. I do think as a woman it is very normal for us to have more tears and tender hearts during that time. I definitely do have that problem. You say hi at me the wrong way, I might cry on you. And it's not, to be mean or anything like that, certainly. I just, my emotions will be tender during that time. And I don't think that's actually abnormal. But I also could let that control me and make others feel manipulated or be at the whims of that. And it's like, well, oh, you can't do that to me. You make me cry, or you have to be extra nice to me right now. Well, those things are nice. They're a blessing when people are extra nice to you, but you can't rule your household. If you being on your cycle causes everybody else's behavior around you to change, then I think there is a problem. Absolutely, again, normal to maybe get a little teary-eyed. Just realize what it is. Realize what's causing it. I don't know about all y'all, but when that starts kind of welling up in me, I'll usually have about one day in that month where I'll feel that and I'll be like, oh, that's why, that's coming, that's why I feel a little extra teary-eyed. And usually I find that I'm feeling a little emotional or teary-eyed and I don't know why. And if I don't know why, that's a big red flag that it's probably hormonal. Personally, at my stage of life, I'm kind of going into the stage where I'm probably going to have more menopausal or perimenopausal type swings and whatnot. And I kind of use that rule. I'm like, why am I upset? Am I teary-eyed for a reason? Is this a legit thing? Why do I feel like crying over this? Or why do I feel angry? And then I tend to stop and analyze it. And usually if I can't find a reason, it's because of hormones. And it's very empowering, if you will, to realize that's what is going on. And once I realize that and zero in on that, I'm able to overcome that so much easier. But do realize it and try not to let that rule you or make everybody else bow to you for that day because, oh my goodness, you're on your period, the world must stop. No, knock that off. And that particular point brings up, suck it up, buttercup. That's one of my favorite expressions because you know what? Yes, it hurts. Life hurts. Sometimes things aren't the best. Sometimes we have things that aren't fair. And, this particular thing isn't even like that. It's just the way the good Lord made us. So be it. Sometimes we just have to, as we all jokingly say around here, put on your big girl panties and suck it up, buttercup. You just have to be an adult about it. It is not that we're always perfect. Absolutely not. I certainly am not perfect, not by any length of the imagination. However, it is just so easy to make that an excuse, and I encourage you not to. When that kind of comes into my next point, we're women. It's how the Lord made us. You can either accept that or you don't. You can move on and, find something else to whine about, I guess. I don't know. It is how we made us, and I think there is a beauty in embracing that. I think it's beautiful how we're made. I think a lot of women tend to view their period as it's this evil thing. I've many a times in my life heard it called the curse or other not so nice names for it. And I would encourage you not to do that. And the reason why is it is how we bear children. It is the beautiful way that God made our bodies to work and multiply and bear fruit and have babies. And if you've ever been and want to have children, you will understand how important that period is. I will give you a personal story. At one time, my hormones were way out of whack. They still struggle, don't get me wrong, but there for a while I didn't have my cycles at all. I would go for these long periods of not having a period, like 6 months, 8 months, and so on, and that's not healthy. And a lot of times I would have to get medical help to get that started because it can raise your cancer risks and all kinds of other stuff. If you don't have your cycle normally, you need to have it. And that kind of made me appreciate it because I didn't have it, and I know I needed to have it if I ever wanted to get pregnant. Because there for a time that, I was told at one point I would never have babies, which turned out not to be true. Praise God for that. But that said, it made me realize how important that period is, what a blessing it is. If you're not having it, you need to have it if you're of the right age to do so, obviously. And it is just so important to have, and it's how God made our bodies. You're blessed if you can have it. You're blessed if you have a fertility. Not everybody has that. Not everybody's blessed. And when you're in the position of not having that and wanting it more than life itself, you'll appreciate it more. So every time you get mad and call your period a curse, I wouldn't do that. Just remember what a blessing it is that God made it possible for you to have that health and ability to bear fruit. Another point I want to make is I think as a society, sometimes we have, I don't know, weird cultural rules. There are those of us who want to hide everything about it and pretend it doesn't exist and no mention of it, bury all the evidence. And I'm honestly, I don't know, it's not a terrible thing, you know, to not make a big deal about it. I encourage not making a big deal about it. But I don't think you have to advertise it, and I don't think you have to hide it. We are women. We have them. It's normal. I've had to go through, in the past few years, talking to my children about these things, and we've had to discuss the fact that this is normal. It's okay. It's not a thing to be feared. It's not a thing to hate or vilify. It's just part of the bodies, right? And I don't know, in our society, I think we tend to advertise it, over advertise it at this point, where at one time I think we used to maybe hide it a little bit too much. I think it's good to have a balance. It's okay to acknowledge it, acknowledge it's there, but don't let it rule you. Don't advertise it. Don't go, most especially, out going, well, I'm on my period, you know. You have to, you know, deal with me and just put up with me for today because I'm in a mood, or, you know, I'm hormonal, I'm emotional. As much as possible, we don't have to tell everybody that we're on that period. Do we really need to do that? Have a little grace and dignity? I don't know. It's little things that irk me in life. My father used to absolutely be appalled at all the commercials. He thought it was terrible that they would put commercials for those things on, especially at dinner time. It really bothered him. He had a squirrely stomach, but I kind of giggle at that now. I'm not at all squeamish about that kind of stuff. I'm not a squeamish person in general, but in the same turn, I do think people over advertise it and over talk about it. We don't have to announce to everybody in and around us that, you know, we're on our period, or be out in the grocery store and talk loudly about it, but have a little grace and dignity, but at the same time, we don't need to be obnoxious. Balance in life. How many things does that apply to? It applies to everything, right? And my final point that I want to make is, if you do mess up, because again, we're human, we're probably going to get a little snippy once in a while, or like, I know in my case, I might cry at you, and it's not in a vicious meanness kind of way, but it's just a tender heart. I think it's feminine to have a tender heart, but we can overdo it during that time. But if we do mess up, and we're getting a little overboard from emotion or anger or snippiness, my biggest advice is apologize to those who you hurt or offend or get too nasty with or anything like that. Apologize instead of justify, because so many of us will be like, well, I'm on my period, you're just gonna have to put up with me. Or, I'm sorry, but I'm on my period. You're making excuses when you do it like that. Be sorry, genuinely sorry for what you do when you do it wrong. So anyway, that's my video for today. I hope that's been helpful to some of you. I have no idea. It's just one of those things I had written down on a list to talk about because I've noticed it in time. So I thought it was a good time to go ahead and put it out there. I haven't done a video in a while because we spent like nearly 4 weeks with flu. It was bouncing with each one of us in the family, and it was a meanest one we've had in a few years, I'll put it that way. But that definitely took me out for a while, still trying to get things around the house caught up and whatnot. So there's your video for today, and I don't know how long it'll be before I get to the next one. Again, my mission is not to crank videos out as fast as possible. It's to do them as I'm able, because I have other priorities like homeschooling. In the homeschool right now, can you see it's a little cluttered in real life? It is what it is. I try not to hide it, and I try to be real with you guys. I hope the sound's okay on this video. I had to use my weird headset. I can't find my other microphone. I don't know what I've done with it. So anyway, you guys have a very blessed morning, and we'll see you on the next video.